welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm bringing you episode 1 of Roll for Makeup. So I've seen a bunch of other creators doing something similar, either with makeup or jewelry, anything creative, so I thought I'd jump on that train and put my own spin on it. So I've created my rules. We've got 5 categories, and the last one being sort of a split category. So I'll roll for face paint or makeup, how many colours, what colour story it is, glitter, yes or no, and then finally I'll choose to focus on either eyeliner or eyeshadow, and then blush or lips. And then I made this dice rolling tray. It's a little bit crude, so I may give it another attempt, but for now, it does what I need it to do. Anywho, should we get into it? Oh, no, one last thing. I've got to adjust the focus settings, but I want to show you the dice that I'm using. My other half bought me. There we are, little kitties inside. Isn't that cute? So there we go. Let's get back into it, shall we? Up first, face paint or makeup, and that is makeup. I'm writing these down as we go, by the way. How many colours? We're going to roll the D10, and that is 6. With the colour story of, so 15, that is pastel. And then, are we using glitter? Yes. Okay, now are we focusing on eyeliner or eyeshadow? Eyeliner, that is. And then is it going to be blush or lips? And that is blush to round us off. Okay, so we have our categories. Now let's create a makeup look together. Okay, so we're back, we're ready, and let's get going, shall we? So we're going to start off by applying my primer, as usual, especially because we are doing a makeup look and doing foundation, etc. I want this to grip to my skin. And while we're doing this, I just want to chuck in a quick apology for the drop-in video quality here. I tried manual focusing, and I didn't catch it changing, so hopefully the video is still watchable for you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to say I've noticed the quality is bad this time around, and hopefully it should be better next time. So I'm just doing a quick tidy up of the brows, push them as up and away from the eyelid space as possible so that I've got enough room to work on with the 6 colours that I need to fit on that in my look. Right, what are we looking for? We're gonna slick back our hair, ambitiously putting it back on the floor there. Nope, going to need to dip back into that pot. So yeah, my technique here really is just grab some, smush it into my hair, and yeah, hope for the best. I want it to be slicked right back out of my face so I don't have to worry about it getting in the way of any designs. In my mind at the moment, I'm planning on doing a lot of wiggly lines. I like to play with Zentangles in my watercolouring, so I thought it might be nice to try that on my face with the water activated eyeliners, because they do work similar to watercolours. So for that I thought I don't want any little baby hairs on my skin to get in the way of that. You can see here my hair may be short, but it is still really thick, so I need a lot of that gel to really tame it down. My technique really is gel, slick, pat, mold it into any shape I can get it to stay in. I'm not looking for perfection. My hair does not allow for that. And the back. Just a little bit more gel in my hands just to help slick it around. I need to get myself a pair of tiny hair straighteners so that I can try and tame these little sections a little easier. That might help in future styling endeavours. I'm really not a hair person. I think I may have said this before on my channel, but I haven't experimented with hair enough, especially not this short of hair. I could do a lot more with longer hair because I knew how it worked. This short hair just doesn't. I do like it though, and I'm excited for it to get just a wee bit longer so I can try finger waves. Okay, so just wiping off a little bit of the excess gel, and because I was allowed to use glitter in this look, the dice gods allowed it so, I found this glitter not long ago actually, just after my glitter photo shoot, ironically. So I thought I'd use it here. I've just taken a little bit out of the pot and I'm spreading it onto my hairline and dragging it back out just to add some nice sparkles and a little bit of intrigue. I found that this is what my solution has been to not being able to style it, is slick it back and add sparkles, anything interesting. This glitter is especially good for today's look because it matches our colour story. It's filled with lots of pastel colours, pinks, purples, blues. I'm actually impressed with how well it fits in to this look. Okay, so that is some glitter. Lovely, lovely. Very glad the dice gods allowed us some of that. I'm gonna go wash my hands quickly. And now that we are back and settled, we're going to continue to just lay down the foundation for this base. And I'm going to grab my mini mixing palette and start to mix up my foundation shade. I've said before, I believe, but I used 2 foundation shades just because the first one I bought was too dark for my skin, so I had to buy some lightning drops. And now I get to feel like a witch and mix up my foundation shade every single time, which actually you'll see in a second isn't often all that great because I got it completely wrong this time around. I bring it back towards the end and it's not that noticeable, but it's gonna look scary for a little minute there. Anywho, all mixed up, and we'll start popping this onto the face. I'm not actually going to make you sit here and watch me blend it all in, so a cut incoming, because I want to get onto the creative stuff. There we are, so that's the layer of foundation on, and you can see what I mean. It's not really a match for my skin tone, but it's fine. We're going to lay a colour over the top. It won't matter by the end of this video. So we're going to start with the blush now. If you'll remember from the start, that was one of our focus on categories, so I'm going to go in with 3 different colours. I'm starting off with the pastel pink at the top of my temple and pushing it in a little bit more to the outer corner of my eye. So the focuses were blush and eyeliner, so I'm not really doing any eyeshadow, which is why I want the blush to sort of bleed out into that eye space just a little bit. I'm really packing it on there. I want this colour to pop. It is such a beautiful pastel pink, perfect for this challenge. I'm just going to pat that in, not trying to blend it away at all, just trying to make it look less stark. This even makes it look a little bit more pastel, I think. I don't often actually wear this blush because I think it is a little bit too light for me. So it's nice to be able to have a reason to use it. It's kind of why I started this YouTube channel, was so that I could play around with all the different makeup I've collected that I wouldn't usually wear out in public. Although, I am getting a little bit more bold with what I'll wear out. Okay, so we're moving on to the second colour, and we're moving on to one of my colourful palettes here, Orange. This colour might not look pastel in the pan, but when I tap it out onto my hand and then blend it into my temples like I do, I think it looks more pastel than you might imagine. I really love the effect. It's almost sunset vibes. Here we go. Don't need much on the brush when you do something like this, when you're working with eyeshadow as a blush. You really want to work it into your brush and then into your skin, build it up layer by layer rather than trying to go in too heavy all at once. Because eyeshadows are a lot less forgiving than actual blush formulas. We're going to go over the top of that pink there with just a powder pink blush. This one's got a slight shimmer to it, so it adds to the glitter that we're allowed, sort of. But that'll just help make that pink stand out, especially because we're going to add a third colour in also, so I want these to be able to blend and melt together quite nicely. Very nice. Nice marble effect in that pan. I've had this blush for a long time. It's one of my favourites. Adds a little bit of highlight as well because I haven't put any of that on myself. So it adds just a little bit of a natural glow. Here we are. So this is the third colour I was talking about, and I just want to try a bit of purple blush. Because blush was something to focus on, I wanted to really go all out with it, especially because we're going to layer some colours on top. I wanted a nice colourful base. So I'm just tapping in a little bit of pigment there, and I'm going to buff away the excess and then blend those two purple spots out. This took a lot of patience, but I quite like the purple rosy cheeks effect, and it adds to the sunset feel. I love how surprisingly pastel the colours look on the skin as well. Absolutely gorgeous. And it adds some pink onto the nose. I really like adding blush to the nose. It just ties it all together for me. Just going to add a little bit more to the tip of the nose there, and I'm going to blend that all out down the end there, and I'm going to bring it into the sides and sort of merge that with the purple on the other side here. Make it all one cohesive blush. Tapping that out onto the forehead. Really love making the use of this space. Lovely. What do we think of the blush? And she's excited because now we get to go into the eyeliner. We're using water activated eyeliners. This is the palette Revolution, and I'm going to mix those colours with the white here to create my 6 pastel colours. Here we go. So I started by adding just a bit of a wing in pink on the outside corners of my eyes, which was an anticlimactic start because you can barely see the pink. Looks a bit better when it dries down Obviously these colours look slightly different wet to dry, but that's okay. We add more to the wings later, so it all turns out fine. I cleaned off my brush and now I'm adding in some orange. And like I said earlier, I've been doing Zentangles for my watercolours, so I wanted to play with some wavy, wiggly lines. So starting from the bridge of my nose, I'm just painting a line, and then I'll follow that and let the brush curve where it wants to curve, basically. These water eyeliners aren't the best. I have to go over each line quite a lot for the payoff that I want. But they did what I needed them to do. This was a fun challenge because I haven't done this much eyeliner in one look ever. I usually only do eyeliner if I can use eyeshadow because my brush control is not the best. The focus that I have to exude just to get a line that I want. So this was a good test, and I will definitely be doing more looks with graphic eyeliner as my videos continue, because this turned out better than I thought it would. Oh, cat jumping up there. Count how many times you see Nala jump up in the corner there and drop me a comment. There we go. I'm just building up the pigment in certain areas where it hadn't quite taken as well. Like I say, these eyeliners aren't the best. I think I do need to invest in some new. I've been looking at some palettes from Glisten Cosmetics actually, so when I've got a little bit of spare money, I may pick myself up a bunch. But here we are. Wipe my eyes out. Going in with a light blue here. Painting a curve on the bridge of my nose. This blue is gorgeous. It pops so nicely. A lovely pastel blue. And blue is one of my favourite colours, so I may be a bit biased here, but I think it is one of the better colours on my face in this look. Look at that concentration there. Really add just trying to get each side perfect. Building it up a little bit. I misplaced my mini mirror, so I'm having to do all of this in my large mirror. Makes it just a touch more difficult. Not too much more, but a touch. And that's enough for me to notice. I'm still holding the white pot of eyeliner. I'm not sure why. It's done its purpose. It's done its job. I could put it, it's my comfort pot at the moment. So I'm going to go in and add a second curve in. Just floating above the one that I put in first. Doing pretty simple shapes, but the amount of them really builds some intrigue, and I love the look in the end. Okay, a little bit of brush action there. So here we go, this is what I was saying before. I've let the pink wing dry down, and now I'm going in with the reverse of my brush and using it as a dotting tool. I'm just putting 3 green dots along the wing that I created. Simple, but cute. I really like it. And the green is another one that came out really lovely as a pastel mix. So we'll just finish the other side there and go into yellow, loading my brush up. And for this, I'm going to follow the orange line. So Zentangles are pictures where you draw one line and then you follow that along with another line and then you keep repeating that. I'm only doing the 2 in this look today. I may do our whole Zentangle look in the future, but for now I just do the 2. So I'm taking that theory and applying it to these brush strokes here. So I'm just following that orange line out with my yellow. And this one I have to go over a lot to get the colour payoff that I want. It is a really pretty colour, but because it is so light, you can see the brush strokes that I make. Just very slowly, very patiently, take your time with this sort of thing. It's not a race. Especially when you're trying to get something perfect, you want to be able to take your time with it. That's something I struggle with, I think, is slowing down and taking the time to put the love into each little brush stroke. So it was nice that I had to slow down and focus on what I was doing in this one. And there we are, so you connect the 2 at the top. Started from one side to the middle, other side to the middle, and then connect over the top of the bridge of the nose. I like the shine from the blush coming through there. Nice little inner glow. And my focus may not be good in this video, but at least you can see how sparkly my hair is. I will definitely be doing a Zentangle makeup look. I've just been thinking about it and it'll look insane, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. I've got so many ideas for upcoming videos, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We're on Roll for Makeup. If you do like this series, by the way, and this is only episode 1, drop me a comment below and let me know. And hopefully the dice gods will bring us something equally as fun next episode. So my eyes started to water there, so I've just cleaned it up and I'm going to go back in and touch up the lines the tear rolled through. This is water activated eyeliner, so if you cry, your work gets erased. There we are, it's all good now. So we're going into the pastel purple I mixed up, and it's a good thing I used purple in the blush because this colour doesn't show at all, not even in the pictures that I took. So I'm going to try doing this again in a different look with a bolder colour. But I've painted on eyelashes on my bottom, on my lower lash line. I tried to exaggerate them, but not enough it seems. So I will give this a go another time. It's a shame because it did look pretty when I was doing it. But we're moving on now. I want to make the top of my eyes a little bit more intriguing, a little bit more interesting. So I'm taking that blue and extending it up into my brow bone. Just sort of underlining my eyebrows, almost. As soon as I bleach them, I will be painting my eyebrows colours instead of underlining them, don't you worry. And then I'm going to change colour and continue that out. Flick that up. Yeah, going from the blue into the green. And then some yellow. And dragging this pink right out onto my temple and giving it a little flick. I'm gonna then start to fill in that space with the pink so it's a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more visible. And this creates a nice angular shape at the top there. Swirl on some more of that eyeliner. Keep trying to say watercolour, but it's eyeliner. It really is, I promise. This is a makeup look. Short controlled strokes there as I just build up the colour. Try and get as much payoff as possible. Those stripes there. Ooh, funky. And doing that on the other side too. I really love the transformation of the bare-faced beginning to ending up with the most crazy designs on my face. And I'm so glad you get to join me for it now. I used to just do this for my own amusement. And is she happy? Not quite. She's just going to go in for a little bit more of a touch-up. She's almost there. I love these paintbrushes. They were cheap of cheap from Hobbycraft, I think. Okay, we're getting towards the end now. Wiggle, wiggle, shake some energy back. And we're going into useless things now, playing around, using the reverse there to try and draw a heart on the tip of my nose. But this isn't quite a small enough paintbrush, so it doesn't work. As you can see, I instantly dislike that. Get rid, get rid. And I'm like, I could just use the paintbrush part. Spoiler alert, this doesn't work either. I really do love putting something at the tip of my nose, but it doesn't always work and isn't always necessary, as I realise. Wipe it away. Get that off there, sort of work it into the skin. And then I'm going to take a little bit off the palette because I decide I kind of like that. And just sort of pop it on the end. Not in any sort of shape, just a touch of colour. Buff that in. And I'm popping it in between the blue and the orange strips just to make it seem like it was always there. This was meant to be. Happy little accidents, we make them work. Woo! That's the liner. No, don't do it. Don't do it. See, this is the thing that always happens, is I want to add more, but I won't. Instead, we'll move on to lips. And because lips isn't a focus, I'm just going to take that blush, work that in there. Notice my lips look a little bit crusty. So I'm going to take a baby wipe and wipe that all off again. Just really scrub every last bit of product off my lips. And then we're gonna pop off screen a sec. So I needed to grab my sparkly palette. Remember my beautiful palette from Kimchi. I'm going to take some sparkles and just pop them on the inner corner of my eyes, because we are allowed glitter in this look, remember? We want a refresh on what the Dice Gods gave us. We had to create a makeup look, not face paint, with 6 colours of a pastel colour story. Yes, we can include glitter, with a focus on eyeliner and blush. And so far, I think we've ticked every box. I think we've come up with quite a lovely look for the rules that were imposed upon us. There we are, just sparkles everywhere. Work it into the nose. Gonna add some onto my cheekbones. Forgot what they were called for a second there. Such a fun look. I really like the abstract. Okay, and now we're going to go back into dealing with those lips. So once again, they're not a focus, so we're going to use the blush colour And then we're going to work in some lip liner in just a nude colour, a dark nude. Just outline all around there to give some definition, but not take away from all of the work we've done around our eyes and temples and all that jazz. Just tapping that blush colour in place, making sure it's worked in, but not trying to remove the colour too much. Lovely, lovely. And as ever, I cannot resist. I'm going to pop some of those sparkles over the top as well. Not too much. Just, I like a little bit of glitter if we can. And there we are, there we have it. Just dust at my nose a little bit, not happy with whatever I did to that apparently. Wanted it blended a little bit more. And then tap, tap, tap on the sparkle. And that does make the sparkle pop a little more, I must admit. Pretty. And this is a last minute addition. Just tap, tap, tapping in sort of an upwards with a circular round off. And then I'm going to pop a little bit on my chin too. And this adds like an oil slick glisten effect that I really love. Might try doing this sort of thing again in another look because I did really enjoy how this looked. And it was just a last minute, how can I add some more of this sparkly palette into this look? Blend that out. Remember, blending out is our Lord and Saviour of the makeup world. There we go. Lovely. Thank you for joining me for episode 1 of Roll for Makeup. I think this has been a very successful first episode and I can't wait to make more. Thank you. Bye.